Hey, welcome, welcome. So great to see you again today. Let me tell you, it was so hard to pull myself away from the Karen Reed trial, which is going live right now. And that's okay because I can watch on replay and catch up with what's happening. But uh, so exciting. The cross examination has begun of Jennifer McCabe. And yeah, it's pretty good. So, what we're going to talk about, though, is the Delphi case because there was a, I believe, second motion to dismiss filed, and we're going to look it over. That was filed on May 20th. Today is May 21st, the next day. And yeah, so let's check it out and see what we can find out. First, I am going to share an order that was given. Okay, let me see how that looks for you. Hey, Chalet in the house, Chalet in the house. Why isn't it like this? Let's see. There we go. Good morning, Chalet. I hope you're ready to have a great day. And so the first thing that we are going to talk about is we're just going to change my name because no one says it right. I do. Well, that's because we went through lots of conversations to figure it out. So now it's just Shell Ray. Okay. I'll just call you Shell. I don't think they can call me Sheila. Australians call all women Sheila. That's the word that they use for, any gal. They just say Sheila. Okay. So let's look at this. It's an order or judgment of the court. So before we get to the motion to dismiss, this is just one page from the judge, from Judge Seagull. The court has reviewed the defense second verified motion to disqualify judge and request for findings of fact and conclusions of law upon denial of this request, if the court denies this request, filed Friday, May 17th, 2024 at 3:04 p.m. Make it very clear exactly what she's responding to. And so a motion to disqualify, basically until that's heard, she can't really give any decisions or orders on any other things until that's resolved, right? So as the court is now required to review and rule upon the 42-page pleading, getting a little snark in there, the court is compelled to cancel the pretrial hearing previously set with counsel's agreement. I think she means that the canceling the hearing is with, counsel, both counsel, plural, counsels have agreed to cancel the counsel and cancel sound very close to each other, to cancel the pretrial hearing. The court therefore orders the hearing set May 21st to May 23rd, 2024 on defendants. And so these are all the things. So she didn't actually say exactly like what was going to be heard. And so now we know. So, and again, it's a little bit of snark. It's saying, so all these things. The first one, she says, the defendant's motion to vacate safekeeping order. So she's saying, nah, you wanted to move Richard Allen, and well, I can't rule on that now. The defendant's motion to compel and motion for sanctions, the state's motion in limine, and defendant's response to state's motion in limine, the state's motion for admissibility, the defendant's motion to suppress the second statement, the defendant's motion to suppress, The state's objection to the defendant's motion to suppress canceled over the state's objection. The transport order vacated. So that being, they had ordered the transportation of Richard Allen to the court for this hearing on May 21st and through 23rd. And so that transportation order, is canceled. And then court to notify. They will notify the prison that transport is no longer needed. Yeah, so a little bit of snark going on there. So Richard Allen's just going to have to sit tight where he is. You were tired of being calling Sheila because they were the snobby ones were calling you Sheila, and that's your evil twin's name. Yeah, we understand snark. So when we see snark, we can identify it. Yeah, power hungry. She's so power hungry, to throw her weight around. Okay, so then let me open. See, 2024-5, the defense, there's a defense motion, and then there's a memorandum as well. So first we're going to look at the motion itself. So let me, Mumsy's in the house. Mumsy's in the house. Good morning. Good morning. Glad you woke up, and I hope you have a nice hot cup of coffee while we look at this. So I'm going to remove this one. And we will share this. Let me see how it looks. And Andy's in the house. Andy's in the house. Excellent. Great to see you. And Andy brought the coffee. I just have water, but that's good. Water's healthy. You lost sound? My sound? Can Andy and Shell, can you hear? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can somebody tell me if you can hear me? 5 by 5. All right. Yeah. Okay, Mumsy, I don't know why you lost sound, but maybe I just stopped talking for a minute. Or maybe you were buffering. Maybe. Okay. Oh, you can hear now. All right. So, and Chalet says she can hear too. So let's continue with this motion, because there's a lot of juicy stuff in this motion. So comes now the accused. Oh, let me read exactly what the motion's title is. It was something on your end. Okay, Mumsy. Oh, wait, before we start this, I got something to show you guys. Remember, Mumsy sent me the butterscotch morsels, the butterscotch chips. Ta-da! I had Sremau make my oatmeal scotchies, and they are absolutely delicious. She did an amazing job. And so there you go. I finally got them made. I am pacing myself. She made them on Sunday. It's now Tuesday night for me. And that's still more than half full, Yeah. Yay. Okay. So let's get into the meat and potatoes. Made oatmeal chocolate chip the other day. That's good too. But and they're almost gone. I bet. All right. The defendant's second motion to dismiss based upon newly discovered, destroyed, and or missing exculpatory or potentially useful evidence. All right. Comes now the accused, Richard Allen, by and through counsel Andrew Baldwin, and pursuant to the 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution, Article 1, Section 12 of the Indiana Constitution, and Indiana Code 35-34-1-4A11, moves this court to dismiss charges against the accused for destroying or losing exculpatory evidence or potentially useful evidence in violation of the standards set out in Brady versus Maryland citation in support of said motion, the accused states the following. So in support of this motion, we're gonna have number 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot. Made strawberry shortcake from scratch with fresh strawberries. Ooh, Andy. My grandfather, who I called Grumpy, that was his favorite thing. So like for his birthday and stuff, he always wanted to have strawberry shortcake. Right, Mumsy? If I got that right? Whipped cream. Yeah, you gotta have. Oh, this. You don't know where Richard came into it. Wait. Oh, wait. Chalet. Richard, this is for new people that call me Sheila. Oh, Richard. Oh, because you meant Andy. And you accidentally wrote Richard. No problem. Okay. So I think that they know she's not going to dismiss this case. But I think they're just trying to get this all in for the record so that if there's an appeal, if they end up losing the case and there's an appeal, or quite frankly, if they win the case and the state appeals, that could happen too. So if there's an appeal, all of this is on record, as I think what they're trying to do. Oh yeah, Mumsy verified that yes, it was Grumpy's favorite, and yes, he did want that for his birthday every year. Because his birthday was in July and strawberries were in season. I think it was in July. Don't quote me on that. All right, let's get into these supports. Number 1, that on February 7th, 2024, the accused filed his motion to dismiss for destroying exculpatory evidence and a memorandum in support of said motion. In his first motion, the defense detailed how a February 17th, 2017, so that's like just a few days after the murders happened, right? Because they went to the park on the 13th, they were found on the 14th. So whether they were killed on the 13th or in the middle of the night on the 14th, we don't know. But on the 17th is only 3 days after that, right? The interview of third-party suspect Brad Holder was destroyed while in the possession of law enforcement, along with multiple days of other interviews. Okay, yeah, we've heard that. But they're laying it out. In his first, number 2, that was number 2. Number 3, on March 18th, 2024, that's this year, a hearing was held on the said matter. Number 4, at the March 18, 2024 hearing, Steve Mullen, investigator for the prosecutor's office, testified that other evidence was destroyed in 2017, as well as it was purportedly unintentionally taped over. Okay. Number 5, furthermore, at said March 18, 2024 hearing, the defense tendered Mullen's undated reports that purportedly explained how the evidence was destroyed. Number 6, the prosecution did not tender these reports to the defense until after the motion to dismiss was filed. Remember that one back on February 7th. Also, said reports were only turned over to the defense after the defense requested those items from the prosecution. So they're kind of setting up that the prosecution was, there were some roadblocks that they were setting up. Instead of doing what they're supposed to do, they had to pull teeth to get what they needed, what they were supposed to be given already. Number 7, on April 2nd, 2024, this court issued its ruling denying the defense motion to dismiss the charges. Okay. Since the time of this court's denial of said motion, the defense has learned of other exculpatory evidence and or potentially useful evidence that the prosecution has not turned over to the defense, is missing, or that the state of Indiana has destroyed. Number 9, just like Allen's first motion to dismiss, the missing destroyed evidence relates to third-party suspect Brad Holder. All right, so we're clear on that. We're clear that Brad Holder is the one that they're trying to get evidence about, and it's always missing or destroyed. So on the topic of Brad Holder's missing phone extraction data, number 10, during a recent deposition of Brad Holder, the defense learned that Brad Holder is pretty sure that he turned over his phone to law enforcement on February 17th, 2017. Okay, that interview that was taped over, he gave him his phone. Number 11, the prosecution has not turned over any data, extractions, reports, or other evidence from Brad Holder's phone. Number 12, curiously, on that same day and at the same time that Brad Holder believes that he turned his phone over to law enforcement officers, his son, Logan Holder, also turned over his, Logan Holder's, phone. Very interesting, because then, was he having text conversations with Abby to invite her to the bridge? The prosecution has turned over the data extracted from Logan Holder's phone, Brad Holder's phone. So if they've handed it over, then they think there's nothing in it and it's safe to hand over, or they think that the defense isn't going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and find something that's important. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given it to them, right? Okay. Number 14. While the data from Logan Holder's phone was extracted, law enforcement apparently claim that they, law enforcement, failed to extract data from Brad Holder's phone, even though both he, Brad, and his son, Logan, turned over their phones to law enforcement at the same time. Number 15, Jerry Holman stated under oath at a recent deposition that he believes police, quote, just look through, unquote, Brad Holder's phone, but encouraged the defense to find out for sure from the FBI. And Holman's deposition was on May 3rd, 2024, and they give the pages of reference. So I just find that really interesting that, okay, so they just, I guess Holman is trying to say that if any extraction was done, it would have been done by the FBI. All righty. Are you guys still there? Because there hasn't been any comments since 6 minutes. I just want to make sure that I'm still live or something, that we haven't lost the connection. Just wave or send an emoji or something so I know you guys are still here. Number 16. When asked if he, Holman, would have extracted data from Brad Holder's phone if given the opportunity, Holman was non-committal. Quote, depends on the circumstances, but I think you'd have to ask the FBI what they did. Well, that's evasive, because they're asking if you, okay, good, you guys are listening. All right, thank you. I'm so enrapturing. No. So they're asking point blank, if you, Holman, had the opportunity to extract the data, would you have done that? Yeah, it's like a yes or no question. Sure. Yeah, if I had the opportunity, I would have done it. Right? But instead, he says, well, it depends on the circumstances. But I think you'd have to ask the FBI what they did. Why is he pushing everything over to the FBI? And don't forget that the guy with the FBI is the same one that was covering up all the abuse that was happening to those gymnasts, the Olympic gymnasts. It's the same FBI guy that was in charge, and is really good friends with the police chief. Number 17. Yeah, deflecting. Exactly. Number 17, fine. And by the way, each of these, when there's like talking about what Holman said, it gives the citation of what page and what line. So I'm not going to go over saying that each time. All right, it's in there. 17, finally, after being pushed by the defense, Holman finally conceded that he would have extracted data from Holder's phone if given the opportunity. Finally. 18, the defense finds it highly, not just highly, double highly unlikely that law enforcement would take the time to collect both Brad Holder's phone and Logan Holder's phone, but then choose to only conduct an extraction of Logan Holder's phone, especially when Brad Holder was a suspect at that time, and no evidence provided to the defense suggests law enforcement considered Logan Holder a suspect. So they're saying Logan Holder wasn't a suspect, but they did the extraction of his phone. Brad Holder was a suspect, and they didn't do an extraction of his phone. That, either they're hiding something or they're stupid. You choose. People love to do that. They love to deflect. Okay, number 19. On February 17, 2017, documents specifically sought by the defense, Doug Carter's emails with the FBI. Doug Carter, that's the one I was trying to say, that it's friends like this with the guy that was covering up the Olympic gymnast abuse. All right. So the documents specifically sought by the defense, they wanted Doug Carter's emails with the FBI, provided evidence that A, Brad Holder was a suspect within days of the murder, and certainly on February 17, 2017, when Holder was interviewed at the Delphi police station and turned over his phone to law enforcement. B, State Police Superintendent Doug Carter was aware that Brad Holder was a suspect. C, even the top FBI agent in Indianapolis, Jay Abbott, the guy that covered up the abuse of the gymnasts, was aware that Brad Holder was a suspect on February 17, 2017. D, Logan Holder was not mentioned as a suspect in these emails. So why would you have possession of his phone and not do an extraction on it? And if they did do an extraction on it, why are they saying that they don't have anything? Because if they extracted all the information off of his phone, then we should be able to see what was happening in the evening. Because remember, the police, at least what they tell us, is their timeline is that the girls were murdered in the afternoon, between 2:30 and 3:30 in the afternoon. And so, we let Brad Holder go because he had an alibi for that time. But what if the girls weren't killed during that time? You see, then where is his alibi? Yes, why, Shell says. Tell me why. Isn't there a song like that or something? There's lots of songs with why in it. It could go a lot of different ways with it. 20. This begs the question, why would law enforcement take both Brad Holder's phone and Logan Holder's phone, but only extract data from Logan Holder's phone when he was not a suspect, but when they would extract it, from Logan Holder's phone when he's not a suspect, but would not extract any data from Brad Holder's phone when he was a suspect, which is exactly what we just said. But just in case you couldn't, you didn't have any critical thinking skills and logic in your brain that you could figure that out on your own, here in line 20 or paragraph 20, then they lay it out, they spell it out, just in case you didn't catch it, like we already talked about. You'll go with the eurythmics why. Okay. Yeah, the eurythmics are awesome. All right. I'm not going to try and sing it. 21. Additionally, the defense possesses 101 phone extractions that law enforcement conducted on a variety of other phones, many of which seemingly have little or nothing to do with the murders. Interesting. Let's give you all this information that is completely irrelevant so you're buried in it and you don't find the truth. Right? So there's that deduction, but then there's also the fact that they were able to keep and not lose 101 phone extractions, but they lose Brad Holder's. Or Mumsy says, thought it was between 2 and 3 in the morning. I guess I was wrong. No, Mumsy, I think that's when the murders actually did happen. According to the defense's theory that it was a ritualistic killing, it would have happened at 2 to 3 in the morning. But the prosecution is saying that when they were kidnapped by Bridge Guy, right? So let's assume that the video footage is accurate, because it could be doctored or photoshopped and whatever, I don't know. But let's give them that Bridge Guy kidnapped the girls, said down the hill, showed a gun. They don't show us the whole 14 seconds or whatever where he's got a gun and he's pointing it at them and forcing them down the hill. Right? They believe that whoever Bridge Guy is, he's the killer and he killed them right at that time. Dave oh my goodness, you guys are all into music. Okay, you keep talking about music in the chat. All right, number 22. This begs another question. Why would law enforcement take the time to extract the data from 101 phones, most of which were not owned by suspects, yet would not extract data from Brad Holder's phone when they had his phone in their hands on February 17, 2017, and he was a suspect at that time? Exactly what we just said. But just in case you couldn't figure it out on your own, there it is for you. We're pretty smart in here. I started it. I started the music talk. I know I did. So that was 22. 23. The defense believes that the above information provides strong circumstantial evidence that law enforcement did extract the data from Brad Holder's phone. Ooh, let's do this one again. Let's read this one again. Let me read this slowly. You're still with you and you're following along. All right. Rewind the evidence. Yeah. All right. 23. I'm going to read this slower. The defense believes that the above information provides strong circumstantial evidence that law enforcement did extract the data from Brad Holder's phone on February 17, 2017, and has not turned it over to the defense. Boom. Yeah. Yikes. Oh, you're in your places with bright, shiny faces. Number 24, logic and common sense support this belief. Yeah. And critical thinking skills. Number 25, if law enforcement failed to extract suspect Brad Holder's phone data while it was in their hands on February 17, 2017, then the only other explanation would be that law enforcement was completely and utterly inept. Just a legalese kind of way of saying what I said, or they're stupid. So they fib about the extraction. They are shady boots. Yes. Is that in discovery? 101 phone extractions are in discovery, including Logan Holders, but Brad Holders is not. It has not been turned over in discovery. And that's what they're pointing out. Okay, so the next topic. All evidence of Brad Holder's second interview with law enforcement is missing. Not his first interview, because the first motion, so I think that, like, since she already ruled, like, what you've said in the first motion to dismiss is not enough, right? So they're talking about new stuff, more stuff, you know. They don't have to go over the first stuff again. They're bringing up new examples, right? So now they're talking about his second interview. Additionally, Brad Holder testified in his deposition that in addition, so the deposition that he just had this year, in, I believe it was March. You'd have to let's do, we're on number like 20 something. A recent deposition. Okay, no, they don't give a date. They talk about the hearing. Okay, I apologize. They just said a recent deposition of Brad Holder, which I would think it would be safe to say happened at some point this year. All right, if they put recent. Okay, so number 26. Additionally, Brad Holder testified in his deposition that in addition to law enforcement's February 17, 2017 interview, which was purportedly accidentally taped over, that law enforcement conducted a second interview of Brad Holder sometime later, probably within a year or two of his first interview. Okay. So 27. Brad Holder, further testified at his deposition that A, law enforcement conducted this second interview at the Logansport police station. B, the interview took about an hour and a half. C, the interview was likely videotaped in an interview room. And D, the interview involved much questioning about Patrick Westphal. So, 28. After the deposition, the defense alerted the prosecutor's office that the defense had A, no phone dump extraction evidence from Brad Holder's phone, and B, no evidence whatsoever in the form of video, audio, reports, notes, or any other type of evidence of law enforcement's second interview of Brad Holder at the Logansport police station. So how did they forget to include that? Was it just a mislabeled file? Remember, good old Slick Nick doesn't want anything about labeling files entered into the trial. Where did they get? What's their excuse? It's ridiculous. 29. On May 13th, 2024, the prosecution advised the defense by email that they cannot locate an interview of Brad Holder at the Logansport PD and have no record of Brad Holder's phone being downloaded. Oh, are we surprised? This is me being surprised. Yeah, right. It reminds me of like the kid, the kid has chocolate all over their mouth and they're like, did you eat a chocolate brownie? No. And they've got chocolate all over their mouth. And of course you ate a brownie. How can you look me in the eye and say you didn't eat a brownie. Of course you ate a brownie. It's all over your face, right? I mean, how do they expect people to believe this? Number 30. At a recent deposition, when Unified Command's Jerry Holman was asked about how the defense could obtain any information about this second interview, Holman said he had no idea, but he encouraged the defense to reach out to the Logansport PD to find out. Am I sensing a pattern here? I think this pattern is like as good as any Amish quilt. You know, I mean, there's a pattern. Narcissists believe their own lies, absolutely, and the world is full of them. So here's the man that is Unified Command. He is in charge of all the different agencies and people coming together to investigate this case. He's the man. And I don't know. Go look over there. Go ask the FBI. Go ask Logansport. Do you think that, I mean, Mr. Holman, do you think that these kind of answers of evading and denying, you know, that it makes you look smart? It makes you look like you're, I mean, didn't you just get a promotion? So, I mean, this kind of investigation warranted you getting a promotion. Oh. All righty. You do the math, see if it adds up. 31. The defense is not required to locate exculpatory evidence or potentially useful evidence of third-party suspects. That is the requirement of law enforcement. So the defense asks for it, and they need to provide it. If they can't find it and someone else has it, it's their job to hunt it down and provide it to the defense, not for the defense to spend their time and money going around looking, you know, everywhere to find it. Very interesting, not buying it, Shell says. Nice try. And she also says that people like Holman count on people being stupid. Yes, they do. Stupid is as stupid does. Isn't that what Forrest Gump said? Stupid is as stupid does. The blind leading the blind. All righty, number 32. Also, at said May 2nd, 2024 deposition. Oh, now we have the date. Because remember, I went back to look for the date, the recent deposition of Brad Holder. Well, now we have the date. It was May 2nd, 2024. Brad Holder told a third different story concerning how many times he met victim Abigail Williams, which in this deposition he said 2 times. And that one of Brad Holder's meetings with Abby Williams took place at Patrick Westfall's house. Yeah, Gump's the man. The go along to get along gang. They always need a villain to blame. Yeah. Okay. So, did you catch this? One of Brad Holder's meetings with Abby Williams took place at Patrick Westfall's house. Why is that important? If you didn't catch it, it's very easy, you know, Mrs. She is married, but Ms. Judge Frances C. Gull. I want to squawk like a seagull, but I don't know if I could do it, if it would sound like a seagull. But if I had like little sound buttons, which I don't have in my program, but if I did, I would add one that would like squawk squawk. That's like a seagull. And every time I say Francis Seagull, then it would squawk. That would be awesome. Okay. Why did I bring her up? Oh yeah. So she said that she wasn't good if the defense could not prove the nexus or the connections between the third party defense and the crime scene and the victims, then she's not going to allow it. It's not going to be admissible. She's counting on them not being able to make a nexus in her word. I mean, why didn't you say connections? The closest emoji you can find is a duck, but okay, we'll count that as a seagull. 1 + 2 = 3, Shell says. Exactly. So she's not going to allow any third party stuff if they can't prove the connection. Well, they've got a connection to Logan and Brad Holder because Abby's boyfriend was Logan, right? Nobody's saying anything that he was like 15, 16, 17 and she was like 12, 13. But everyone's accepting that that Logan was her boyfriend. Anyway, so therefore, being boyfriend girlfriend, it would be assumed that Brad also knew her, right? But there was no connection that you could prove with Patrick Westphal until now. Now they have him connected. Because if Abby was at Patrick Westphal's house for a barbecue or an asatru ceremony or whatever, then he had eyes on her. You couldn't see the emoji? Yeah, Andy has a duck emoji. Oh, yeah, but sometimes it gives like the combination of the emoji instead of actually seeing the emoji. Yeah, quack. Affleck. Okay. So 32 is like really big. This is big. The dots are connected. There is a nexus. Do you hear that? Francis Seagull. Quack, quack. Oh, that sounds like a duck. Quack, quack. Is that more like a seagull? Okay. Number 33. When Jerry Holman was confronted with Brad Holder's ever-changing stories concerning how many times Brad Holder met Abby Williams, Holman stated, quote, perfectly reasonable in my opinion, that he remembered somebody insignificant. If you've only met them twice, you may not remember that. So I don't see exactly what you're asking me. That just smells. That stinks so bad. So Abby was insignificant. You know, doesn't it hit you that way? Perfectly reasonable, in my opinion, that he remembered, means that he didn't remember, right? That he remembered somebody insignificant. If you've only met them twice, you may not remember. So I don't see exactly what you're asking me. It just makes me feel that there's a double layer is what I'm feeling. Yes, there's the one layer that to Brad Holder, Abby was insignificant, so he wouldn't remember her. But just the way it came out sounded like he himself is saying that Abby is insignificant. Fly, Robin, fly up into the sky, up to the sky. Fly, Robin, fly. There's a song in that, isn't there? Up, up. Odor of mendacity. Mendacity. That's a word I don't hear often. Mendacity. There it is. Untruthfulness, lying. People publicly castigated for past mendacity. Dishonesty, untruthfulness, lying, mendacity. The mendacity. Good one, Andy. Good one. The silent lucidity. Lucidity. I mean, like, if you're lucid, you're lucidity. Clarity of expression, intelligibility, the ability to be intelligible. Clarity of expression, lucidity. Ooh, look at this. Chalet. Keep your eye on the sparrow. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Keep your eye. No, that's a different one. Odor of mendacity from the Ganny Willis case. Wow. I love it. You are enlightening me. Yeah, it's a song. Straighten up and fly right. I kind of remember that one. Big Daddy Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Burl Ives. Leave it to Andy. You are our song and music guru for sure. All right. So thank you, Jerry Holman, for calling Abby Williams insignificant. Number 34. Oh, Fannie Willis case. All right. I don't know Fannie Willis. And I'm not going to stop this right now to check it out. Number 34. When Holman was asked if it were likely that Brad Holder would not remember meeting Abby when Holder was asked 3 days after the murders at his February 17, 2017 interview, but then 7 years later he would remember meeting Abby twice, Holman responded, possibly, yeah. I could just see him there. I could see him there with his mustache. Right? Doesn't Holman have a mustache? Or am I mixing him up with somebody else? It's good. Let's get Jerry Holman Delphi. Oh no, he doesn't have a mustache. It's the other one that has a mustache. Okay, so just for you guys too, Streamlabs is sharing a window. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing the window for a second. Meow. Who's that? It's Baby. I'll say hi to everybody, Baby. This is a Baby Wilbur. Yeah, Baby. Baby wants to go outside. I know you want to go outside, but I'm not going to let you outside. A boogie woogie bugle boy from company. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy from company B. Carry on. All right, so let me share just so that you guys have a point of reference as well. Jerry Holman. This guy. All right, this guy. So I'm not going to bring this up. I only look at him while I read this. So he's being asked if it's likely that Brad Holder would not remember meeting Abby when Holder was asked 3 days after the murders at his February 17, 2017 interview. But then 7 years later, he would remember the meeting Abby twice. Holman responded, possibly, yeah. Can't you just see him? See the arrogance of how he would say that? Muh. All right. Can't play a note unless bass guitar playing with him. He eats well. Mumsy. Okay, you get a gold star for that one. He eats well. A portly man, a stout man. All right. And we have not disparaged him in any way. With that, I'm not making fun of him. So I'm going to remove this and we are going to go back to the document. Give me the document. So that was 34, possibly, yeah. Okay, 35. How is this? Is this wide enough for you guys and stuff? I'm just wondering if I can make the screen fill it up bigger. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it like that. Oops, Chris. Fatty, fat. Alrighty. Number 35. Holman showed no curiosity nor interest whatsoever about why Holder's stories have changed. This attitude supports an argument which defense will later make in this motion that law enforcement have acted intentionally or in bad faith to conceal evidence to such a degree that they cannot even admit obvious factual inconsistencies that point the finger at third-party suspects. They are in too deep. They've put all their eggs in the Richard Allen basket, and they cannot afford to have any of the, to have their Richard Allen egg broken. They're in too deep. And may I add that it's very possible that there are Masonic links as well, that everybody, a lot of, Brad Holder and the law enforcement and Slick Nick, they're all members of the Masons. And sometimes, depending on what level you get to, there's some like blood oath kind of stuff going on that you're going to protect, that you got their back. So could be some of that too. Yeah, we know you did it, but like he pulled out his get out of jail free card. He's like, nope. Yeah, you caught me, but you can't do anything about it. Go pin it on somebody else. Bart Simpson came out. Do they have to let it linger? Do they have to? Do they have to? Do they have to let it linger? All right. Number 36. Patrick Westphal was interviewed on August 17th. I think they mean April. Okay, so either they mean August, excuse me, because August 2024 hasn't happened yet, all right? So there's a typo. Either it was August 17th, like 2023, or it was April 17th, 2024. Because they said Holder's interview was on May 2nd. So if they interviewed Patrick Westphal on April 17th, that would just be 2 weeks before Brad Holder's interview, deposition. But on this interview, law enforcement extracted data from Westphal's phone. Oh, here you go. It's 2023 because yes, I think. Well, whatever day they interviewed him, law enforcement extracted the data from Westphal's phone, right? So that's one of the 101 phone extractions that they did get. Now, here's the kicker. That the phone extraction shows that Westphal's phone had no data prior to August 11th, 2023, which was the day that law enforcement contacted Westphal and asked him to come in to be interviewed 1 week later. Okay, that clears up that this should be 2023 because August 17th would be 1 week after August 11th. So basically they're saying that law enforcement contacted Patrick Westphal and said, hello, is this Patrick Westphal? Oh yeah, great. Hey, listen, we'd like to talk to you again. Can you come in when 1 week from now on Tuesday or whatever day it was? Yeah? Okay, great. Yeah, the station here. Okay, yeah. All right, so I'll see you then. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Okay, bye-bye. Hangs up the phone. What, does he buy a new phone? So on the 17th, when he hands them their phone, the data only goes back to the 11th? Did he do a factory reset? Something happened, because they give him the phone call and then there's no data before that when they do the extraction. Yeah, of course it was the cranberries. We're gonna have to do a guess the lyrics show. maybe on Thursday's show we can do that. You guys can try to stump me with the lyrics and I'll try to sing them. But not tonight. Tonight we're talking Delphi. This is interesting. Okay, so 38. In other words, in case you didn't figure out what that meant, it appears that Patrick Westphal either erased all of the phone data on his phone or purchased a new phone after police contacted him on or about August 11th, 2023. The only data found on Westphal's phone was between August 11th, 2023, on or about when the police contacted him, and August 17th, 2023, when he was interviewed. No texts, videos, photographs, email messages, nor any other data existed on Westphal's phone before the day that police contacted Westphal on August 11, 2023. Okay, we got it. 39. When Jerry Holman was confronted with the fact that Patrick Holder likely erased or attempted to hide his phone data from state police, Holman claimed that he found nothing unusual. Oh, there's nothing to see here, folks. Quote, people erase things all the time. Later, Holman stated that he found nothing suspicious about Patrick Westphal deleting and concealing his phone data before his Westphal's August 17, 2017 interview. Oh, I think they mean the 2023, their August 17, 2023 interview. Nothing to see here. Yeah, so people erase things all the time. Yeah. All right. That's what you want to, that's your story and you're sticking to it. All right. Number 40. Again, Holman's attitude toward third-party suspect Patrick Westphal supports the defense's position that law enforcement has intentionally destroyed evidence or acted in bad faith or have intentionally not provided missing evidence, such as Brad Holder's second interview, as well as other items identified in this motion. Yeah. Andy says that Fannie Willis case is the Florida Attorney General. Oh, brought RICO case on Trump, all blew up because lied about the affair with appointed prosecutor and a bunch of other things. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I did kind of hear about. I wasn't following it, but I'd catch things. So odor of mendacity is from that case. Alrighty. That was 40. 41. At his August 30th, 2023 interview, State Trooper David Vito did not even ask Brad Holder if he, Holder, would allow state police to extract data from Holder's phone, even though it is clear that Holder had brought his phone with him to the interview. So they interviewed Patrick Westphal on the August 17th, and then they interviewed Brad Holder on August 30th. So this is the second interview. Maybe. Or is it a third interview? 42. Therefore, it is not known whether Holder similarly hid and erased data from his phone, like it appears Westphal hid and erased data from his phone. No. So we know Westphal did, but we don't know whether Holder did because David Vito didn't even ask to look at it. All right. Well, didn't ask to extract data. 43. It certainly is curious as to why Vito did not request Holder's phone data when Holder brought his phone to the August 30th. Yeah, that's the same. Yeah, August 30th interview. I wonder if Vito is a Mason. I don't know. I wonder if he is, because Brad is. Brad had lots of Facebook pictures of his Masonic stuff and his son going through the ranks and becoming a Mason as well. Erased data can still be viewed. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Because, hey, True Crime Cult. So great to see you, Robert. Robert in the house. When we look at the Madeline Soto case, he tried to factory reset his phone, right? And they were still able to get all the images after he did that, I believe. But I don't know what level of digging or whatever they had to do in order to get that. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Yeah, we are in the middle of the Delphi motion, and we've uncovered quite a bit of stuff. We got a little ways to go here. Oh my God. We're on page 6 of 20. Okay. We'll try to speed it up a little bit. So yeah, if you're joining later, then make sure to watch the first hour as well, because it's got a lot of good stuff on it. Ooh, Chalet, you didn't stick around last night, Robert says. I'll let you guys talk about that. I'm going to continue. Number 44. It is also curious as to why Vito failed to ask Brad Holder one single question about Elvis Fields. Now, I wonder if this is based on their interview with Holder about this second interview. And, well, did they ask you anything about Elvis Fields? No. Did they ask you to extract data from your phone? No. Because I think they said that they haven't got, I'm not sure if they said they had to ask for it and then they did get notes. I thought that they said that when they asked for it, there's interview? What interview? Go talk to Logan Sport, right? That's what Holman said. So I'm not sure. So this, I think, might be coming from Holder's deposition. Number 45. It is also curious as to why Vito failed to ask Brad Holder one single question as to the incriminating statements that Amber Holder attributed to Brad Holder that are detailed in Frank's 1. Vito's failure to ask such important questions to Brad Holder during the August 30th, 2023 interview supports the defense contention that law enforcement is acting in bad faith. Oh, you're going to be live again tonight. Oh, yes. Did you set that? Did you set the schedule? Did you have that set? And Shell's going to be live on her porch, but nothing much to see there. Just some ducks, maybe a manatee, maybe a dolphin. You caught a few minutes of the livey of True's Live. Now I'm going to be a guest on his show tonight. It'll be 7 a.m. for me. I'm going to take a peek and I'll give you a link if it's scheduled. True Crime Cult. No, I don't see it scheduled yet. Let me click on live. Nope. So as soon as it's scheduled, I'll share a link on my community post. 7 Central, right? So it'll be 8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, you're slacking. Caught you slacking. 8 p.m. Eastern. All right. And which would make it 5 p.m. Pacific. Right? Gibbo in the house. Gibbo in the house. Did I see you earlier? There you are, Shell, right? Oh my gosh. When was that? 10:03. Oh, 2 minutes ago. Okay. Oh no, wait. No, you were there at 10:01 as well. Okay. All right. So, yeah, we've got Maven. Yeah, I'll be on the panel. Don't have any schedules. You go by the seat of your pants. That's right. That's okay too. Okay. Chalet's going to for sure be there. Andy's complimenting Chalet's music on the water. Gibbo, this is a massive nothing burger from the defense. All bad delay tactics. Disgusting. Just accept that there's no third party defense and that Richard Allen is guilty and stop selling a book. Well, thank you, Gibbo. I enjoy having different opinions. Okay. So I welcome everybody to share their own opinion and nobody like attacks other people, right? If anybody disagrees with something that someone says, don't say I disagree with you. You say, well, I think this, right? And then someone else says, well, I think this. And someone else says, well, I think this. Say what you think. Don't put down anybody else that has a different opinion, right? Yes, you have non-copyrighted music playing. I figured you'd had that. Yeah. You think differently, but it's okay. Exactly. Okay. So we're finding some pretty interesting stuff here. I guess it depends on like how deep you're like looking at it and stuff. So feel free to share. Like if I share my opinion and you have a differing opinion, please share it. I welcome that. Yeah, if we all had thought the same thing, we'd have nothing to discuss. Yeah, that's why we get that echo chamber. I don't want my channel to be an echo chamber. All right. So you might attack Shell. Oh, don't do that because then you'll have all kinds of shorts about you. Oh, don't worry. Oh, don't. Chalet, don't. Andy says, okay, to have different views, I want to hear it all, especially stuff you haven't heard yet. Exactly. See, Andy's pretty new. I think Andy's pretty much only heard about Delphi on my channel. Yeah, see, he's joking. I totally took it as joking. You're surrounded by alligators. And yeah, okay. So this is good. So when we get to something, if I say, well, I think this is important because of this, and you think it's a nothing burger, then please, Gibbo, make sure that you share your opinion. Okay. Oh yeah, both. Okay. Heavens, no, don't start battles, Maven. Exactly. All right. So let me get my PDF up here. Okay. So he didn't ask Amber Holder anything. 46, vetoes failure to ask such important questions to Brad Holder during the August 30th, 2023 interview, supports the defense contention that law enforcement is acting in bad faith. Okay. So the next topic is that the mimicked crime scene image found on Brad Holder's social media is lost. Okay. Now they were able to get a picture from somebody else, but let's see what they have to say. Yeah, sense of humor. Bring it on, babes. Love, peace, and serenity. Okay. Number 47. Here we go. In addition to Holder's 2017 missing phone extraction and missing evidence of Holder's second interview at the Logansport police station. So we just went through that. We went through the phone extraction and the second interview missing, right? As well as Holder's taped over first interview from February 17, 2017. Another key piece of evidence is also missing. Number 4, the mimicked crime scene photo that was on Brad Holder's social media pages. And why would that be relevant at all? Because this is one of the things that when law enforcement holds back information and says this is an ongoing investigation, so we can't see anything, this would be one of the things that they would hold back on purpose, because then if somebody makes a confession and they say, I cut off his right ear, but it was the left ear that was cut off, not the right ear, well, that's a false confession, because they didn't know that detail, maybe perhaps a signature or something about the way a crime was committed, right? So they do hold back something, and they held back the fact that there was a possibility of runes and things. I mean, at one point they thought it because they asked an expert. Okay. So at one point they thought maybe this is something. Maybe these sticks on the girls are meant to look like something, right? And then according to the police, they decided that it wasn't. All right. But at one point they thought it could be. And so the way that the girls were laying, that the way there was a tree, the way one had their arm up, this and that there was a photograph that Brad Holder had posted of like 2 actors laying in the same configuration that the girls. So basically it was a picture of the crime scene, a reenactment of the crime scene. And you're not going to know that. I mean, how is he going to know that that's how the crime scene looked, unless possibly he was there, right? Or it was leaked to him, right? How else are you going to know? The mimicked photo they got offline now. They're claiming they don't have it. So what is it? Okay. Well, I just told you what it is. The expert said that they weren't runes, and he would have never made that ruling out of respect for the girls. The defense lied. I haven't heard that statement from the expert. I've heard the prosecution say that so somebody's lying. Somebody is lying, because the defense says that the Purdue professor said it wasn't runes. That's what they say. And the defense, so that's the prosecution, and the law enforcement say the professor said it wasn't runes. But the defense says the professor did say it was runes. So yes, somebody is lying. Somebody. I haven't seen a statement from now. I think they were gonna, in that one hearing, they were gonna call the Purdue professor to be at that hearing. I thought the March 18th or whatever, but then Judge Gold said she wasn't going to allow it. Right. So I don't think we've ever heard a statement from the professor himself, or I haven't seen a written report from the professor of what he said. He was at a hearing and he filed a statement. Okay, I need to find that then. And Shell says, I just believe all the evidence should be brought out there on the table from both sides. Well, Shell, that's exactly what the trial is. What you're describing is the trial, right? But even then, the judges have a lot of power as to what's admissible and what's not admissible. So sometimes it's not all the evidence, right? Gibbo says he called the defense out in court, just like Click did, and defense lied and were called out on it. Okay, Gibbo, I have not heard that, so I have to dig and find that. So thank you for bringing that out. I have to Look for Purdue statement at hearing. Okay. Yeah, not if they withhold evidence, then you don't see all the evidence at trial. You're right. Yeah, that is kind of what we're talking about. Okay. So the crime scene image, now you know, so we're all on the same page of what that is. It was a photograph, because he had another thing that was a painting, but this was a photograph that he posted on his Facebook that had two young women laying down in woods on leaves with a tree and everything. And I do not know if they had sticks on them or if it was just the way that they were laying there. And so that's why it's called mimicking the crime scene. Gibbo, it's all there now. The defense are only talking about things that support the third party, but it's all hearsay and not admissible. Yeah, well, definitely the defense is only talking about things that support their side. I think all defense attorneys do that. Yeah, true. I'll give you that. Well, wait till the trial to actually figure out what I believe. But I do think there's a lot of shady things. Sure. You're following a lot of cases and can get things jumbled. Yes. And I'm like so into this Karen Reed one. You guys weren't here when I first started the live, but let me tell you, I am so into the Karen Reed, and it was so hard to have to hit pause on the Karen Reed trial to jump over here and do my live. I'm like, I can replay, so I can still see it. All right. So number 47, in addition, did I read all of that? I didn't read all. Okay, I'm going to read it again. In addition to Holder's 2017 missing phone extraction, missing evidence of Holder's second interview at the Logansport police station, as well as Holder's taped over first interview from February 17, 2017. Another key piece of evidence also missing, the mimicked crime scene photo that was on Brad Holder's social media pages. 48. Trooper Purdy viewed this mimicked crime scene image on Brad Holder's social media page sometime in the spring of 2017. This image was marked as Exhibit F in Purdy's deposition and discussed on pages 79 to 81. Dumbbell for Daybell's dumbbell. Got it. The people they are accusing all have alibis. Richard Allen hasn't got one unless he likes feces and time away from his wife. Okay, so they all, I'm just going to say, they do all have alibis for the afternoon of February 13th, 2017. But if this was a ritual, then the timing might be more around 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. of the 14th in the evening. If that's so do they have alibis for those times? You see, I don't think law enforcement checked those times. So that, sorry, talking into your phone and chasing a toddler. Hi, Talon. Talon's the toddler. No, chasing, and then Gibbo does that on the emojis. Good job. Okay, number 49. This mimicked crime scene image found on Holder's social media page holds an eerie similarity to the actual crime scene. Okay, number 50. In the mimicked crime scene image found on Holder's social media page, the bodies of two women appear to be staged, lying on the ground in the woods with branches laid across their bodies. Okay, so there are the branches. 51. One of the women in the mimic crime scene image found on Brad Holder's social media page has her arms staged, positioned in a similar manner as one of the victim's hands were staged, positioned in this case. Number 52, at the time that Trooper Purdy observed the mimic crime scene photo on Brad Holder's social media page, the general public did not have knowledge of the appearance of the crime scene, the positioning of the bodies on the ground in the woods, or that branches and sticks were arranged on the bodies. Okay, not by the public. I think there's a possibility that maybe one of the volunteers that found the girls and they said, hey, we found the girls, and then the police and everybody are coming, that they might have snapped some pictures and had some pictures of the girls, and maybe that could have, leaked. Okay. Yeah, so that is a possibility. 53. In an April 12th, 2017 report from Trooper Ryan Winters, it was learned that the state police also came into possession of said mimicked crime scene image through an internet sleuth named Ryan Boucher. I don't know who that is. Boucher alerted Winters to the disconcerting images on Brad Holder's social media pages and then sent said images to Trooper Winters over the internet. Still interested in the Truckee girl, Kylie Rodney, and the two girls at the campground in Utah. They were in Utah. And I think one of Kaylee and Crystal. Kaylee and Crystal, I think, were their names. Kylie, the Crystal, and I think her name was Kaylee, they in Utah, in Moab, was around the same time as Gabby Petito. So there was wondering if her boyfriend might have killed them too. Story is full of holes. Utah. Yeah, Kylie Rodney. Right, Gibbo? Okay. 55. On April 12th, 2017, Trooper Winters then shared with Jerry Holman, the head of the unit command, right, Winters' knowledge of the mimicked crime scene images found on Holder's social media pages and the other information. Not sure what the other information is. Maybe because in 54 it said disconcerting images. Okay. 56. Because of the similarities between the images that Boucher sent Trooper Winters from Brad Holder's social media and the crime scene, Trooper Winters requested that Brad Holder be re-interviewed. So April 12th is 2017. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. My dates, because I'm like, but he didn't get re-interviewed until August 2023. Right. So yeah, I'm always one ahead. Wyoming, Jason Jensen solved that it was a guy who walked out of a mental home. Well, yes, this did come out, that who killed Crystal, and I think it's Kaylee. There was someone that law enforcement said had done it. Okay. So 57. Despite that request, what request? The request from Trooper Winters asking that Brad Holder be re-interviewed. Despite that request, state police ignored Trooper Winters and never re-interviewed Brad Holder. Brad Holder was only interviewed in August 2023 after Jerry Holman was challenged by the defense to reopen the Brad Holder investigation. See, it's interesting that they, and Gibbo, you're on your side, is because they're like, he couldn't have done it because he was working out at the gym or whatever. He was someplace else during that time. However, we have to remember that if this mimicked crime scene, if it is a ritual, it was probably done at night. If. All right. 58. To this day, the prosecution has failed to turn over the mimicked crime scene image that Purdy found on Holder's social media in 2017. Interesting that they haven't turned that over, because they did get a copy. Well, 59. Fortunately, because internet sleuth Boucher had saved the image that he had turned over to Trooper Winters, the defense team was able to drive to Georgia and retrieve that image. So they do have a copy, but that doesn't relieve the police or law enforcement prosecution from handing over what they have in discovery. All right. When deposed, Trooper Winters claimed that the state police did not access the images that Boucher found on Holder's social media that Boucher then turned over to the state police. But wait a minute. So Trooper Winters is being deposed, and he says they could not access the images that he sent. But then why, if they couldn't access it, then why would he be asking Brad Holder to be re-interviewed after seeing them if he hadn't seen them? Because they couldn't open them. Something's mixed up here. 2 and 2 ain't equaling 4. 1 plus 2 ain't equaling 3. With the Delphi case, so Gibbo says, with the Delphi case, they know the killer was linked to Klein. They deny it, but look at all the long-term suspects that were CSOs, and they took devices from RL, Ron Logan, and RA, Richard Allen. I really think Klein had something to do with it. Either that or somebody who had access to the Anthony whatever account that was a catfish account. Because I believe it has been established that Abby was talking to the catfish account. So there could have been some kind of lure there to the park to meet who she thought Anthony Schatz. That was the name of the catfish account. She could have thought she was going to go meet Anthony Schatz, and she wanted Libby to be with her, kind of as protection, you know. So I think that Anthony Schatz, it's a very good possibility. It would be so freaky if it was like a real coincidence that the Anthony Schatz account was being used to lure Abby for maybe some other purpose, just to rape her or something, right? And then somebody else saw them and intervened before the Anthony Schatz catfisher could do what they want, could intercept them. That would be quite a coincidence. It's possible. Andy says, my God, all these cases, stabbing in the river, the floating, yeah, okay. 2 moms in Texas, which I've only seen a little bit. I don't know that much about that one. Murdaugh, I just never even bothered with that one. Daybell, I was like really interested when it was all unfolding. I'm not so interested right now. But the Air Force guy in Florida shot at home, I saw a headline about that. Yeah, there's a lot. Well, and Karen, you didn't mention Karen Reed, the one that I'm completely like involved in right now. Klein, so Gibbo says, True Crime Cult says it's a setup. Yeah, I mean, the Anthony Schatz and everything, there's definitely some setup stuff going on, I think. Klein, okay, so Gibbo says, Klein talked, so did Ron Logan. They didn't get charged because they gave up the killer Ron Logan hints at that in the Forest for the Trees documentary. And he was also good friends with Anna Williams. I don't know who Anna Williams is. I'm sorry. Please don't hurt me. Yeah, Chalet says so many cases, so little time. Exactly. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if Ron Logan had some kind of involvement and does know something and did know something. So is the person like, so if he did give up a killer, did he give up uh did he give up Richard Allen? Did he give up Brad Holder? Did he give up Elvis Fields? You know, um, I am curious though, especially Gibbo with you here. Maybe you can answer this. I am so curious as to why, when there's weight given to a confession, why there's more weight given to Richard Allen's confession than there is to Elvis Fields' confession. I'm curious why Elvis Fields' confession to 3 people is just discounted. It doesn't make sense to me why one would be, okay, yeah, this one's for sure, and the other one is like, oh no, that's nothing. Remember, the trial for Richard Allen is Emily Ann A. blank S. admin, and Anna Williams is Abby's. Oh, Abby's mom. Okay. So Ron Logan was good friends with Abby's mom. Yeah, because I wasn't following this from the beginning, and just kind of got involved after he was, like, when Richard Allen was arrested, and I started like learning about everything that had happened. Okay, let's keep going. We're only on page 8. I might need to do a second show of that. Let's get to a spot that we can stop. Let's see. We're on 60, 61. Claim that they could not access. So we're on 61. Let me look. Okay, we'll go to 65. You see here, because then we have a new topic starting here, and we're just gonna have to like end it there. So 61. How could state police lose such an important piece of evidence as an image found on a suspect's social media that mimics the crime scene? Valid question. Okay, so Gibbo, because Elvis Fields' confession came through his sister, so is hearsay, because it wasn't corroborated. And Richard Allen has evidence and witnesses against him, plus he gave details of the crime. But Richard Allen gave wrong details. He said he shot them because he didn't know that. I mean, it sounds like he didn't know how the girls were killed because he said, yes, I shot them. Right? But Elvis Fields says, I spit on her and I put antlers on her head, which may have been horns, but he said antlers, which actually, at least the antlers part, is consistent with the crime scene. And so even if in court there's that, well, he said it to 3 people. He mentioned things to 3 people, right? So when you say something to a police officer, that's not hearsay to a police officer. But yet, if it's hearsay now to us, because they did do an interview of Elvis Fields. I don't know what was asked in that interview, because when he was being taken back home from the interview is when he said what he said to the law enforcement, right? I think maybe it was Murphy. And so he said that to them, but then like whenever it came out what his sister or whoever, when he talked to these other two, we would want to like re-interview him, you know. So yeah, so I'm kind of confused on the but what I was going to say is that just from a public standpoint, um, even if the confessions wouldn't be admissible in court, we don't even know if Richard Allen's is going to be admissible. They're fighting, the defense is filing motions that it's not admissible, right? So that might not be admissible on different grounds. So if they were both inadmissible, then as the public, why do we lean toward one more than the other? But you say you feel that Richard Allen's confession is corroborated with and has evidence, so that's why you believe it. Gibbo says he didn't. He confessed, like he being, I think, Elvis Fields. He confessed to multiple crimes. He would have already had discovery and known the details at arrest. The prosecution said, or you're saying that he didn't say that about the gun. The prosecution said defense highlights that, but will delay trial, and they did. Yes, they did. They surprised me. I didn't see that coming. I know a lot of people thought that they wouldn't go forward with the trial. I thought they would. I thought they would. I was surprised. You know, I understand, you know, why they felt they had to, because I think that the way Judge Gull was in that moment, that if they had gone to trial now, you know, in May, that she would have ruled inadmissible on all of the third party. She would have granted Nick, the prosecutor, his motion to keep everything out. And then what's their defense if they don't have that, right? It's hard to ignore a medical examiner, a warden, and his wife. Okay, give you that. Hey Maven, live stream is set up. Okay. Give me a second here. I refresh. I'll put the link for you guys. Jennifer Keese. Let's see. Watch later, share, say, wait. Notify me. Share. I thought we were going to be talking about the Idaho 4. Or maybe, oh, wait, is this the one that's the P. Diddy girl? Because that's what we were going to talk about, right? And I said, I got fresh eyes because I don't know anything about this P. Diddy stuff. I mean, I've seen just that they were trying to arrest him and they arrested his kids or something. I mean, but I totally ignore all the P. Diddy stuff. So I will be completely fresh eyes on this one. It's to sell a book. They have no case, so they will ram the motions full of third-party guilty to sell their book. Look at the defense diaries. Anthony Garcia got death penalty, and they defense diary. Is that the defense diary podcast? Is that who I watch? And that was okay. Got the death penalty, and they get a podcast. Yeah. And interesting to think of. True crime cult. She vanished in 2005 without a trace. Nobody is covering the case. All right. Well, I'm with you. Whatever topic you want, I'll be there. There's the link. So make sure you guys I'll put it on my community post as well. 5 p.m. Pacific, I believe. It should show your own time zone. Like when you go to that link, it should show you what time it will be in your own time zone. Okay, let's finish this part. Okay, we did 61, 62. The defense again would proffer that the mimic crime scene photo was not lost. Logic and common sense dictates that such an important piece of evidence would not be lost by state police. 63. The defense is filing simultaneously herewith as its memorandum in support of the second motion to dismiss, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, but we're not going to probably go into the memorandum because it's mostly just law cases, I think. 64. As detailed in said memorandum, if the defense can show that the missing evidence is exculpatory in nature, then the defense does not need to show that the missing evidence was intentionally destroyed. If the defense can show that the missing evidence is exculpatory, if they can show that in nature, then the defense does not need to show that the missing evidence was intentionally destroyed. Okay, so they don't have to prove it was intentional if they can prove it was exculpatory. Just that they didn't give it to them, whether it was intentional or not, if it was exculpatory. 65, if, on the other hand, the defense cannot show that the missing evidence was exculpatory in nature, but can show that the missing evidence is potentially useful evidence, then the motion to dismiss should still be granted if the defense can show that law enforcement intentionally or acted in bad faith regarding the destroyed or missing evidence. And that is where we are going to end it, people. Exculpatory nature of the missing evidence is what's next. But we're done. We're almost 2 hours. So boom, I'm going to close this. Remove. There's me here. I'm here like this. You don't see me. Sorry. I think maybe my camera moved a little bit or something. So I hope you guys all enjoyed that. Quite a bit of information to go through there. And so it's up to us to decide, is the defense just blowing a lot of hot steam, or are they onto something? We have to make our own choices on what we're going to believe. How can they prove it's exculpatory? Brad Holder had an alibi. Work won't lie for you. And they clearly had a bad relationship. He was sacked shortly after. Yeah. But again, that's the alibi for the afternoon, right? And it's possible. You know what, though? I've said this before. I'll say it again. Because I don't have the information of the autopsy, right? And I don't know who did the autopsy and if they did it correctly. But if they did it correctly, there's a big difference. I mean, in the window of time of death, if they had been dead from 3:30 in the afternoon on the 13th and were found at noon, the evidence in their body and all the way, there's numerous ways that you establish time of death, numerous ways. And if all of those things were to line up to put it at that time, that, okay, they were killed 20 hours, 20 hours before. All right. But the difference between that and what would it be? So let's say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 8 hours. So the difference between what happens to the body in 20 hours versus 8 hours is significant. It's significant. And that medical examiner, if they're worth their salt, then they should be able to tell whether those girls died, let's say 8 to 10, right? Or, 18 to 20 hours. That's a big enough difference at this stage. Because one thing for sure, they were found in less than 24 hours, right? They were found in less than 24 hours. And so definitely that medical examiner can figure that out. And I would want, before I make a decision on who I think is guilty or whatever, and what happened, I would want that information. So Gibbo says they were killed in the afternoon. There's no evidence showing they were moved and brought back. The defense accepted that. I'm not sure. Well, then what happened to their blood? I mean, there was some blood, but it was like sprinkled blood and the blood on the tree. But there was, I mean, for their necks were cut. And objection, I hold Maven in contempt. Recuse yourself. Yeah. So, I mean, if they were killed right there, there would be a lot of blood. And that blood wasn't there. Right? So at the very least, they would have had to have been killed in the river or washed in the river or something and then put there. At the very least, I don't know. I need evidence. It's right now. I mean, either you've got the PCA and you've got the Franks motion, right? So which one? They could both be, Hey, CFM Queen in the house. You always show up right when we're ready to end. What is it about this time? And Gibbo says she's being biased for the defense and poked me clear bias. No. Sustained. There was a pool of blood by the creek, plus the creek. LOL, or lots of blood was washed away and a pool left. Okay, so we need a trial, and we need evidence. We need all this evidence brought out in court, so that we know this is how the evidence was gathered. This is everything. You just woke up and you're having coffee. Wow, you've been out late fishing? Yeah, coffee sounds good. Maybe I'll make myself a cup of coffee and have, for those of you that came later, I have to share. My mom, bless her heart, sent me butterscotch chips. And so I now have oatmeal scotchies, oatmeal butterscotch. Oh my God, they smell so good. I gotta put the lid back on it. You're dealing with sunburn and heat stroke. Oh my goodness, you gotta take care, girl. We don't want anything happening to you. So let me put this link in again. Objection, cookies to sway the jury. You woke up at 5 a.m. the first time to go fishing. Oh my God. Yeah, you deserve a nap. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Oh, well, this has been a great evening. I'm so happy to be with you. Tomorrow is Gen X. I know we were in the middle of doing the meme thing. That's kind of just like a backup, right? I got a good one. It's forgotten foods of the 70s and like forgotten breakfast of the 70s. It's a video, so we can play the video and like fast forward through it and different things. And we, because most of them, I'm like, oh yeah, Gen X, yeah. And then some of them I'm like, well, I've never had that one. And so I'm curious if you guys have had some of them that are in it. The cookies sound good, huh? Yeah, I think I'm gonna like boil some water in my see my kettle back there. I'll boil some water, and then I have instant decaf, and I've got some milk, and and then I'll dip my cookies in it. I'll have only two. I have to ration myself, they sound good. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Okay. Oh, hugs, everybody. Please join the live on True Crime Cult. I am so excited to be on panel. and discuss a case I know nothing about. So I'll be completely the fresh eyes on the panel, and whatever critical thinking I can use in my brain, I will share my thoughts with everybody over there. So whatever your time zone is, there's the link. It'll show you the time. Hit the notify me. There's a little let's oh yes. No. Remove that one. Stop screen. Present. I'll show it to you really quick. This one. Okay, so this is the thumbnail, and you see I turned this would say notify me, except there you go. See, it says notify me. I clicked it. So now the notification is on. It tells me live in 8 hours, which for me is May 22nd at 7 a.m. But it will tell you what time it is for you. Or now that you know it's live in 8 hours, you can figure it out. What time is it right now? Add 8. Okay. So I hope to see you guys over there. And oh, she was in there. She was. Oh, you mean right now or tonight? Yeah. Yeah, Mumsy, you're gonna watch, right? Or is it the time of one of your favorite shows you got to watch? I hope you'll be able to join. So, as always, I'd just like to remind you that love transcends. What? Why did it blink for a minute there? Love transcends time and space. So, wherever and whenever you are watching this, I love you. I do. And so I'll see you tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel for Gen X. It's going to be fun. And then also tonight on True Crime Cult's channel, one more time, here's the link. And I will add it to my community post right now. All right, everybody. See you next time. Thank you for joining me.